Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're going to be playing the new Irresistible Attraction seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode, in which whenever we or our opponent plays a non-spying unit, it will move a random enemy unit of the same power to the opposite row. That sounds like a lot of movement, so we will be focusing on a movement-themed deck. That's right, we're going to go with a Scoia'tael Guerrilla Tactics movement deck, link and deck list in the description. Okay, so we'll be going against Nilfgaard here, and we will go first. And let's see if there's anything we particularly want to get rid of in our hand here. I'm thinking Brokilon Sentinel, probably you. And then potentially Renew as well, because you are very good, but mostly in round 2 or 3 when we already have some strong cards in our graveyard, which we may not have in round 1. So I think we do get rid of you here. And well, Vrihedd Dragoon is probably less than ideal, so let's swap you out as well. Geralt, Yrden, that should work. Okay, and I think we probably start off with the Dol Blathanna Sentry, because that will benefit from all of our future movement that we're expecting to have. So let's drop you, I think, probably in the range row if we're expecting for us to be the primary people doing that moving, because we have a lot of cards that have that movement built in. So let's drop you. And Nausicaa Sergeant will get boosted whenever they play a card with... What? That's not how I thought that worked. So I thought cards were going to change rows, like the Dol Blathanna Sentry started in the range row, and then they played a 4-strength card, so it was going to attract over to the melee row. Not that it was actually going to swap sides altogether. May have missed the fine print there, but that's a little bit concerning. Okay, so that may affect our strategy a bit here. We could perhaps swipe their Nausicaa Sergeant if we played a 4-strength card of our own. What if we threw down, say... I would say Cat Witcher, but whenever we play a card with movement, it's going to get damage. So, oh man, that was actually a huge play on their part, because we have a bunch of movements. So, less than ideal, I would say, certainly. I mean, we can swipe one of you, but somebody's going to get hurt here. Oh, okay, we did bring it back. That was key. That was key. And then, fortunately, everyone gets up to 5 strength here, which maybe is a little bit more difficult for our opponents to swipe back, because they do need to play a card with the same amount of strength. And with 2 cards with 5 strength, that means that they don't necessarily know which one they're going to get. And that is also potentially reason to use our tactic here to boost someone up to 10, which would be much more difficult for them to catch. Okay, now, they did not swipe either of these guys here. We do have some 3 strength cards, so we could steal their Ardfian Heavy Cavalry, which is tempting. I mean, it's not going to be a card that we can really do much with for Assimilate, but at least to take one away from them is probably a decent play. Alternatively, we could even... I was thinking originally we'd go Vrihedd Brigade for the deploy damage, and then when it gets moved, it'll deal additional damage. But if we play Catwitcher Mentor in the range row, that will also get boosted up to a 3, which might actually be a little bit preferable here. I think we go that route, to tell you the truth. We can swipe you, and then we'll leave it at that for now. Then we'll get some more movement. Should, again, make it a little bit more difficult for our opponent to swipe our cards, at least some of them. Although, they have plenty of options here. 3, 4, 5, 6, all of which would steal something. Okay, they'll steal our Catwitcher, or Catwitcher Mentor, which is probably not one of the cards we would have liked for them to have taken. Probably, if anything, would have liked for them to just take their Heavy Cavalry back. We could swipe the Catwitcher Mentor back right now. We don't necessarily know if we're going to get it or the other Heavy Cavalry. But if we play a Vrihedd Brigade, then we're going to get something. So, I think we go that route, and we do have some deploy damage, which could get something into stealing range, but I think we don't want to hit the Catwitcher Mentor, because then it would drop down to 1, and then we wouldn't steal it. Hit the Heavy Cavalry, but it's just going to hit armor, so it's not really going to do anything. So I think we probably hit the Nausicaa Sergeant. Let's go with that. And we did get you back. Okay, so I like that. I do like that. And it's looking like it's going to be pretty darn tough for them to take the Dryad Matron, because that's doing most of the movement here. If we could get other stuff moving, that would certainly help. Now, they're going to steal one of these guys. Ooh, that is probably the card that we wanted most. At least of our 4-strength cards, at least. Again, don't really care much about you, but if we play Cat with your mentor, then we should get either you or you back. I think we do that. And then we probably play you here to most immediately benefit from moving over into the range row, getting boosted by Dryad Matron, getting you up to a 5, which is hopefully a little bit tougher for them to steal. Could even potentially use their tactic on you. Don't really want you to get stolen. Okay, we did get you back. That is also quite good. So I think we go with this. But you could make the case that we could do that on just about any of our cards here if we were particularly concerned about them getting stolen. But I think at this point, both of these two are pretty safe. Any of our 4s could get stolen. Our 5 or a 3 could certainly get stolen. Playing a 2. Okay, but it will trigger Assimilate on your many Assimilate units, which is less than ideal. Ooh, and Duchess's Informant means you can play a base copy of one of our cards. But all of our cards are boosted, so oh, well, yeah, Cat Witcher is going to steal something. One of these two. Okay, that is good for you, but the card that was certainly the worst for us, so I guess we'll take it. And we could turn around and swipe another 4-strength card, or at this point, let's see. 5 units, we can destroy rightmost unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could destroy this Cat Witcher. And then we end up swiping one of the other 4-strength cards, or we could play the Cat Witcher and just hope that we get this one back. Maybe we start with this and just see who we get, and then we can decide if we think playing Brehen in a future round is worthwhile or not. I think we go that route. And in which case, which row do we particularly want to play? Probably this row. And then again, it'll get you boosted from the Dryad Matron as soon as possible. We want to do? Okay, not really the card we wanted to steal, but it's something. And with you at 6 strength, that should be pretty tough for you to get back. Ooh, that is a strong card, though. Okay, you'll take Warrior Assimilate back. Sure. And let's see. I mean, now we have fairly large lead. Let's see. We would be on Adrenaline 3 if we were to play Brehen, which means we could destroy even something in this row here. Oneiromancy, I haven't even really thought about what we would do with it. Malena is interesting because we would get a lot of additional movement, but I don't love playing her this late in a round. I'd like to play her, ideally, earlier in a round where we can do more of that movement. Maybe we still go for it, but Vrihedd Brigade, would we steal anyone? We would steal you, which is not that big of a deal, but it's something. And I would love if we could get your Assimilate 2 unit or our Cat Witcher Mentor back, but neither of those are guaranteed. Maybe we play Brehen, put you here, destroy you, and then we're going to swipe you. Yeah, okay. That maximized our probability of getting you back, or swiping you. And we may pass after this, because that's a pretty big lead now, especially after sealing what was arguably their best card. But hard to tell definitively, because of course they could steal potentially any of our cards here. Interesting. And it will allow you to swipe a 4-strength card. Not the one you wanted, though. I think we pass here. We're on even, but we have a big enough lead that I don't think they're going to be able to pass us anytime soon. So I think we are okay with this. And we will still have some passive damage and passive boosting with all of our movements, so that should work in our favor as well. They're going for it. 4-strength card, okay. Still swipe. I will be the Assimilate 2 unit, which is unfortunate. Because that is certainly a card that, well, maybe more than any they'd like to pick up. But even with that, still haven't passed us. They'll go Leader ability, okay. Sure, maybe that'll be enough. Oh, Yrden will definitely do it. I didn't even remember that we had it in our hand, to tell you the truth. Wasn't really relevant, because there weren't too many cards for us to reset in their side. That is strong. Does mean they will almost certainly take round 1 here. It's close, though. Tell you what. Ooh. Our passive movement was almost enough for us to still take that there, but okay, they lucked out a bit with getting Yrden on their leader ability there. I suppose we had only 3 cards in our hand, so it was guaranteed, but okay. Fair enough. Well played. Does mean we have a 1-card advantage here, but we will be going, assuming we win this round here on card advantage, we will be going first in round 3, which is less than ideal. Let's see. Vrihedd Brigade is fine. Renew should now be relevant. Any of a number of cards we could bring back with it. And, well, I don't know. Do we want to get rid of either of you? They're both good. Just could we do better? Malena, Gezras. I mean, we have Oneiromancy though, so like, can guarantee that we get one of those cards. Dol Blathanna Sentry's not bad. Try swapping you last minute. Well, we got Malena. Okay, well, we probably did want to have a throwaway card, so it might have been best to actually hold on to one of those decent but not perfect cards. Not the end of the world if we need to play something like Dol Blathanna Sentry here, because we can get it back with Renew. Probably would ideally have a different card that we bring back with Renew instead, but could even go Stygga Castle, spawn something in, and then get the Resilience. So I think we go that route. We have a small amount of carryover value in that case, so let's go with, I mean, it doesn't really matter here, so we'll just throw in, I guess, a Cat Witcher. I mean, I suppose in some ways it does matter a bit, because if we really want to, we could bring something back with Renew. I mean, we already have a Cat Witcher in our graveyard, so it's not going to matter here, but just food for thought. Okay, so yes, we will have Stygga Castle sticking around, which gives us some additional movement, which, with something like Dol Blathanna Sentry, could be quite helpful. Could give us a nice, quick way to get some early boosts in, make it harder for our opponents to steal our cards. Like, we definitely don't want them stealing Gezras. That would be concerning if they could do that. We have a ton of ability to play cards we want from our deck. The question is, do we have cards that we actually want from our deck? Use Necromancy, which we may end up doing. Cat Witcher Mentor, Dryad Matron, probably the other ones we opt for, although we have enough movement that Vrihedd Brigade could do a lot of damage. So I do kind of like that. But I think we stick with what we have here, and we just take advantage of Oneiromancy, Royal Decree, and Renew to get almost any card we want. As for what we start with, though, that's an interesting question. Because I think early on, it is easiest to steal cards when they're at right around their base strength, because there's going to be a lot of cards with 4 strength, 5 strength. So I'm thinking whatever we play here, we might want to actually use our leader ability to boost it up a little bit, make it a little bit tougher for them to swipe it. And I think you could justify either Dol Blathanna Sentry or Malena. Probably Dol Blathanna Sentry first. I'm thinking, let's play you in the melee round. I'm deliberately going to move you once with our leader ability to get you up to a 6. Because I think if we have it hanging around at 4, almost guaranteed they can seal it. At 6, it's going to be tough. It's theoretically possible, but I think fairly unlikely. And with Portal, it definitely won't happen. Okay. So I'm fine with that. It's a good card to summon in, yes, but we could also steal it. And then move it with Malena in order to boost it up, make it a little bit harder for you to catch it. Now, you could still have a 5 strength card, yes, but that is sort of the benefit of having Malena with Dol Blathanna Sentries. We can start to move things around a lot and make it much harder for them to catch us. So, should be tough for them to steal cards. Now, it shouldn't really matter which row we play you in. Well, actually, with Gezras, we will end up boosting in the range row, so we want to have as many things in the range row as possible. So, let's put you here, swipe you, and then we're going to deliberately move you. And Dol Blathanna Sentry will boost you by 1 in the process. Which, at the moment, with 5 strength, I think you could still swipe this back if you want to. You could probably swipe Malena as well. But I'm hoping that at least with a little bit more time, we can do more moving with Malena while she's about to go away. But we might be able to bring her back here. Let's see. Not with anything directly in our hand right now, but with Renew, Oneiromancy, or Royal Decree, we could certainly make something happen. Let's just see what we want that to be. So we're looking for something with 4 base strength. Means none of you guys, but maybe another Dol Blathanna Sentry or a Cat Witcher. I think we go Renew into Dol Blathanna Sentry, play it in the melee row, and then use our leader ability to bump it into range and basically have two of these guys hanging out. I think we do that. You to here. We'll swipe you back and move you. We'll get boosted up to a 7, which I'm pretty confident they won't be able to do anything with. And unfortunately, Malena does not get her cooldown back on our opponent's turn. So we couldn't throw in any additional movement to make it a little bit harder for them to catch us, but they could turn around and swipe Malena back. That's certainly not out of the question. Especially if they play a card from our graveyard that certainly has 4 strength, like a Cat Witcher. That is exactly what they'll do. They'll get Malena. I mean, we'll take it. They'll take it, but... Okay. You're at 5. Ooh. I don't like that. Don't like you being a 5. So, what do we do now? We can, let's see, Gezras is Adrenaline 3 is when he starts kicking in to boost everything. We could play him early, but I am concerned about that. We could play him here in the melee row. Then when he moves to the range row at the end of our turn, he will boost a single random allied unit. And we would just hope it be this Dol Blathanna Sentry so that it gets bumped up to a 6, making it more difficult for it to get changed or get swapped. But that's not guaranteed. Royal Decree, can we do anything? Help us out here. Dryad Matron would boost you, but not you, which is concerning. Oneiromancy, give us anything, but bring a card back from our graveyard. I don't really think that's going to do us any favors here. I think we need to do... Oh, this is going to be tough. You. Here. I was too slow. It's going to put in a random row. That's not the row I wanted, but we will take Cat Witcher Mentor back. It will get boosted up to a 6, so I think it's going to be tough for them to swipe this back, but they could take Dol Blathanna Sentry, which is going to be a problem if they do. We will still keep 1, which is nice, but less than ideal. Ooh, 3 strength, okay. We don't have any additional artifacts, but they will take our Stygga Castle, ooh, which means they can create a 4 strength card to swipe you. Probably what you're going to do with the Cat Witcher. Yep, okay. I think that's fine. Rather you take that than any of these guys, I think. So we have other sources for our movement. And I'm thinking it's probably Gezras next, because at this point, he will have his Adrenaline trigger. So he will boost everything in this row. Especially after you getting damaged. Bumping you down to a 4. We'd like to get you back up a little bit higher. Gezras, in moving, will get boosted twice, up from a 5 to a 7, which I think means he will not get caught. So that's also certainly a good thing. Just want to check with Oneiromancy. What are we going to do with that? Probably Necromancy into what? Cat Witcher or another Dryad Matron, which could swipe their Dryad Matron or Malena. That is all tempting. But I think we want to get Gezras out there as soon as possible. Let's do this. And we will swipe their Cat Witcher. Certainly take that. Is there anyone that we particularly want to move? I don't think so, because these Cat Witchers are going to get moved at the end of our turn, and then they're going to get boosted by 2, so they're not going to get caught. Only thing that might get stolen would be you, but I think that's fine. Or you. We do still have Stygga Castle, the order ability on that to move additional cards around, which is not a terrible idea to get some boosts. But I don't really want to do it because, or at least not yet, because we don't want to move the Dol Blathanna Sentries, because they're the ones that would do the boosting with all that movement. So at some point we'll make it happen, yes, but I was kind of waiting until we had additional cards out there to keep these guys stagnant while everyone else was moving. Masquerade Ball. Okay, that is a little bit late to play it, but I suppose you certainly have a target for it. And it spawns in that card, doesn't play it. That means you won't swipe any 4-strength cards, not that we have any. Though we could potentially swipe it for ourselves. With our Oneiromancy, Necromancy, and then Dryad Matron, I think. They're thinking about Malena, but not gonna... Oh, they will do something with it. Yeah, that was a smart move. Okay. And now, however, when they get moved, we will deal damage to them. So that's not the best idea. We might want to use our own Stygga Castle now to get you back into the range row, which I think is where we'd like to have you. So, I mean, Treant Boar is ideally something we'd play early on, and so it's certainly not great that we're waiting to play it as long as we have, but we have so many cards that also benefit from getting played early that I think, you know, we'll deal with it. So, do we want to play you and, say, swipe one of you two? Or, no, I think we do want to go Oneiromancy, Necromancy, and get either of you... I think we go Dryad Matron to maximize the movement. Swipe Malena, that is big. And then I think we move all three of you. Which means we should get a lot of boosts from this. Leave it at this. And at this rate, I think Malena is at 4, and she's not really going to move any further. Unless we use our leader ability, which we arguably should do as soon as we can. But everyone else, besides maybe this guy here, should be just about uncatchable. Okay, 4. Yeah, you're going to take Malena back right now. So that perhaps was deserved. We should have tried to move her immediately so that wouldn't happen. Gezras is probably going to go down to poison, but had several turns for him to do some boosting, so I think we'll live with it. Not like they were able to immediately destroy him. Okay. Continuing to steal our cards, yes, or at least create copies of our cards, I suppose. This is an important distinction, especially in this seasonal event, but now I think Treant Boar does need to come next. It does have Zeal, because we have Dryad Matron out there, so that is beneficial. And I think we play you. And is there anyone in particular that we want to make sure that we damage? We have Geralt Yrden as our last card, which has 2 strength. If we were to hit Malena or the Cat Witcher, we could potentially drop them down to a 2 and then swipe them on our last turn. I'm thinking we go for something like that. I think the Cat Witcher is actually preferable, because Malena will not have her ability reset at that point. So let's go for you. And do we have anyone that we particularly want to move? I don't really think so, because we don't have anyone who's particularly vulnerable here, besides maybe the 1 and the 2 strength cards, but if you want to steal them back, that's fine. Gezras very well may go down to poison this turn, but like I said, he's done his fair share of boosting, fair share of damage. I think we'll live with that. Did you? Oh, Malena did that. I was going to say, I don't think I remember doing that, but could use our leader ability on you, perhaps. Okay, that's going to swipe probably Hulkim the Wet back. Not really something that you particularly want to do, but okay, yeah, there is destroying Gezras, as expected. And we are probably going to look to reset the range row. It looks like you're going to play this melee, or not. Which is rather silly, because you are certainly making this an easy decision here. But, let's see. I mean, we could deliberately use our Guerilla tactics on Malena, which would drop her down to a 2, and then when we play Geralt Yrden, we would steal her. But I'm not really sure that is that worthwhile. I mean, we've got this one pretty down pat here, I think. But let's see. So, bring you back. You'll get boosted in the process. Technically, we should have done this first. And then, now we will go Yrden on you guys. And this is looking pretty comfortable. Famous last words, but with a 50-plus point lead, it would be awfully tough for them to catch up, especially because we have enough strength balance between the different rows that even something like a Yrden of their own shouldn't be enough. And they may realize that. I mean, Imperial Diplomacy is certainly not going to be enough, right? They could steal something, but, I mean, what's it going to be? A 2 strength card at best? No way they're getting 8 strength or higher card. So there you have it. I was concerned when I saw that you actually steal cards because, well, we have several cards that are beneficial to have out there on the playing field. So if they are to take them, then they get quite a bit of power themselves, but found a way to make it work. Okay, and we'll go against a fellow Scoia'tael deck, and we will go first. There are also movements, so this could be perhaps even a mirror match here. Okay, let's see here. Any cards in our hand that we particularly want to get rid of? Probably Brokilon Sentinel. And then potentially Renew in round 1 is a little bit concerning. So we may look to dump you. I think we probably do. I mean, they are Scoia'tael, so there's certainly a non-zero chance that they destroy some of our cards, but I think we don't take that risk here. And this is probably not really a card we want to have either, though. Mentor we'll take. Okay. Now, we want to deliberately play a card here that we don't think they're going to steal. And I think what we might do here is deliberately play Dol Blathanna Sentry melee row and then move it to range row with our leader ability to bump it up to a 6, which would be fairly difficult for them to swipe. Either that or we play a card and then immediately use our tactical advantage to boost it by 5, which would make it pretty tough to catch. I think we go with this, though. And then we leave our tactic unused for now. That gives us the flexibility going forward to throw just about anything down there and get it unstealable with a 5 boost. Except if you use your leader ability, suppose I may have forgotten that you have precisely the same ability that we have. This card may change hands very many times. To play Gezras this early, when we can certainly steal him, he is an interesting idea. Okay, I suppose he is getting 6 strength with Dol Blathanna Sentry. That is true, which does make it a little bit tough. Do we have any 6 strength cards that we could fish out with something like Oneiromancy? We actually don't. So, that's an interesting one. I mean, we do have Brehen. Eventually, we could destroy Gezras with Brehen, but still too early for that. What would we prefer? Ooh, Vrihedd Dragoon we would have liked to have gotten rid of as well. Don't really want that in our hand either. Yeah. So, didn't really see that one coming. Malena I like, but she's certainly best with a Dol Blathanna Sentry, and I don't want you to steal her as well. So I think, what if we were to... What if we play a Cat Witcher Mentor? I know it's early for this, and it's not going to get much of anything on its deploy. In fact, our attack doesn't even count for it. But that is deliberate, because I don't think you're going to play any 1 straight cards. I suppose you could play a Cat Witcher Mentor of your own. But, yeah, I mostly want you to play cards that we can turn around and steal. To put us back in the driver's seat here. If you play a 4 provision, or 4 strength, Dol Blathanna Sentry, I would have to imagine we can make that happen. And we could swipe this one back with our own Gezras. Is a little tempting. I mean, next turn, Gezras is going to boost one of these guys, and suddenly it's going to become a little bit more complicated than that, but I was not thinking I was a huge fan of the early Gezras play. Until I realized that, at least in our case, we don't have a lot of ways to get rid of him, at least not immediately. Hey, thinking about moving stuff around? The leader ability charge? Here it is. Okay. Yeah, so like now Gezras becomes tricky to do anything with other than Brehen, which we still need to wait for. So I think what we do here is either play our own Gezras and swipe one of you, and give you a little bit of a taste of your own medicine, or go Oneiromancy into Treant Boar, because that will also swipe one. I think I do prefer that. I'd like to try to save Gezras, except, well, maybe it's fine. Because like we saw here, with Gezras, he applies the boost, and therefore does make it difficult to swipe back these cards, because they'll start to get pretty high up there pretty quickly. So I think we do perhaps go for it, in which case we want to play you here, I believe. Oh. Or not. Okay. Well, I mean, that could work. Let's boost Gezras real quick, because I don't want you to swipe him anytime soon. Just in case. So I wanted you to end up here. It's actually, I thought it was the... We bring him to the same row. Is it actually the opposite row if we play our card, perhaps? In which case we should play Gezras in the melee row to bring Dol Blathanna Sentry here, but either way, in this case we'd just be dealing damage. Ooh. whenever you move. This is interesting. They're out of leader ability charges. Ooh, we dodged a bullet there. That could have potentially destroyed Gezras. I forgot that we could throw out some leader ability charges to damage you, which in this case would drop you down to a 6. Well, actually, Dol Blathanna Sentry here will drop you even lower. I think we try to swipe a Gezras here. I think we do. If we do this, we'll get boosted a bit from your Dol Blathanna Sentry, but we will damage you from ours. Now we can throw out something like either Malena, probably Malena. We'll swipe you back, and now I think, what do we prefer to move here? Probably our Dol Blathanna Sentry into our range row. Now, we will get boosted whenever we start doing these things. Now, they could very well swipe a Gezras back. This one here, they don't know if they're going to get Gezras or Dol Blathanna Sentry. This one, they need to have a 2-strength card, which is possible, but still a little bit unlikely. They have a 5-strength card. Okay, so they're going to destroy one of these, and they're going to swipe the other. Yeah. Actually, ooh, Order of Operations was not what I thought it was going to be there. I thought they were going to play their card first and then swipe a card. In which case, they would have been able to guarantee that they'd get Gezras back. That's not what happened, though. They got lucky that they swiped Gezras, because that's definitely the card they would have... Well, probably the card they would have preferred to have had. Yay. This is tricky here. Brehen, still too early. Can't destroy this Gezras. But is there anything else we can do? We could move your Dol Blathanna Sentry if we really wanted to. Turn you into a damaging Dol Blathanna Sentry rather than a boosting one, which maybe makes it a little bit more feasible to get Gezras back. What if we go Vrihedd Brigade, damage you, then move it with Malena? I think is probably what we go for here. In which case we want to have you, I think, start off here, damage, and not the card we would have liked for you to have randomly damaged, sure, but it's something. And, I don't know, is there any benefit to be had from moving one of their cards with Vrihedd Dragoon? It's unlikely, because it will get boosted by their Dol Blathanna Sentry. Not the strongest of cards. It does make it hard to catch Gezras. Harder still. Okay, please don't destroy our Gezras. That's not nice. Okay, so... thinking we probably break out either Oneiromancy or Royal Decree here to bring out something like either another Dol Blathanna Sentry, wouldn't be bad, or Dryad Matron. Basically something to give us a little bit more boost. Because Gezras, in some ways it is nice that he's only on a 1, because our opponent doesn't have any 1-strength cards to swipe him back. But at the same time, the random Gezras damage eventually will catch up and take him out. So I'm thinking what we do here is let's go Oneiromancy, because we'll get another round of it in round 2 or round 3. And do we have a preference here? I think we probably do prefer Dol Blathanna Sentry. It's not going to quite be enough to swipe any of your cards, unfortunately. But if we do, I think we go for this. It will boost you a bit and bring you up to a 3, which is potentially dangerous. You may be able to swipe Gezras back now. You also have Geralt Yrden, which could reset cards, which could suddenly bring them within swiping range. Oh, man. So many ways to make it happen that are just... they don't immediately come to mind, but then you look at your cards like, wait, so much more we can do. Okay, well, now you're going to destroy Gezras. I mean, you could have done that from the beginning when it was at 1 strength. So I'm a little surprised he waited as long as he did to do that. Okay, but now we could destroy your Gezras as well with Brehen. That is now a possibility. Alternatively, we could reset, and then you drop to a 5. But we don't have any 5-strength cards unless we go Royal Decree, go Treant Boar, but that'll, of course, take a turn to make that happen, and by then, you'll have moved once, Dol Blathanna Sentry will have boosted you once, you'll be at a 6. So I think we probably keep it simple here, and destroy ya. And in terms of movement, I mean, we'll you. And now, Force Protector is potentially stealable. It's not a huge pickup, but it's something. Okay, now you go Oneiromancy. There's plenty of cards you could steal at 4 strength, just not really clear what you're going to end up with, of course. We'll play 4 strength cards, so you'll steal something here. I'd like for you to take Brand, because it's already used its deployability. Everything else is still valuable to us. Ah, Malena was still valuable to us, okay. Not ideal. Let's see. We do have a 4 strength card of our own, though, which is not our best, but we could take back either you or you with it. Alternatively, we could go Royal Decree in order to get either our own Cat Witcher or Dryad Matron out there. I think is probably preferable. And I think we might want to go with, I think, the Cat Witcher. Get some damage out there, get some other cards within stealable range, or at least make it easier to steal them. And we'll play you here, I think. Swipe back Malena, I like that. And again, at 4 strength, they could swipe any of a number of things. 5 strength, they're definitely going to get the Cat Witcher. 3 strength, they're definitely going to get the Cat Witcher Mentor. They probably don't particularly want to get you, or at least doesn't do much well. You're going to destroy him in all likelihood here. Still don't think it's doing too much for you. Okay, now if we play Vrihedd Dragoon, it will swipe either of you. We'd certainly prefer the Cat Witcher. What if we play it and then deliberately move you to the other row, which will boost you up to a 5, which means we will definitely swipe you. I mean, it is giving you a boost, but again, order of operations may be such that we steal a card before we trigger the deployability. That might have been what we saw previously. We could even use Malena to do that same thing in that case. They're like, why are you deliberately boosting my card? Well, and I think in that case we're moving an allied unit. It's probably preferable. Let's move you to make you a little harder to steal. And then we take you back. Or actually, that was originally your Cat Witcher. But this is looking pretty good at this stage. Geralt Yrden is certainly a nice card to have as our last one. Okay, yep, and they'll pass. We did play one more card than our opponent, but I think we'll take that for the round 1 victory. Okay, and here it gets interesting. We have Renew and Oneiromancy, which gives us a lot of flexibility with what we have to play. What would we actually play with Renew? Can't go with Gezras because his provision cost is too high. So that's unfortunate. But we do still have some strong bronze cards. And Malena, and Dol Blathanna Sentry, Cat Witcher. I think we might want to wait a little bit to see what our opponent plays before we go that route. I mean, we're going to insta-pass here, dry pass in this round, but do we want Treant Boar? I think we probably can live with it. So I think this is just about as good as it gets here. See what they play for their throwaway card. Makes sense. So we will go second in round 3, which is ideal. And we'll be on even cards, so we're fine with that. And especially with Geralt Yrden, that should work pretty well for us. Dryad Matron is nice. Brokilon Sentinel, not a huge fan. I think we probably dump you in that case. And Vrihedd Brigade, probably not a card we particularly wanted either. Cat Witcher Mentor is okay, not great. Probably would have preferred either Necromancy, Stygga Castle, or Cat Witcher. But I think it's big to be going second here, because then we're the ones focusing on stealing the cards. Ooh, that's going to be hard to steal, though. 8 strength. I mean, if we were to Geralt Yrden, reset you down to a 4, then that is certainly stealable at that stage. But we don't want to be doing that this early by any means. So let's just see with Oneiromancy, what would we choose to use? Probably Necromancy or Stygga Castle. Would even go with making a bomb, and that would deal 4 damage. Would drop you down to a 5, at which point you would be stealable, and you would go in the melee row. That's surprisingly good. You know? Didn't really think that was going to be a factor. But that could be... I think we give it a shot. That could actually be the answer. It's risky. Normally you would say, no, it's definitely not the best play. That is one of our weakest cards, yes, but the intention, at least, is to set up the steal here, which if they have any way of boosting this card, will of course backfire on us, which they will, I'm sure, yep, proceed to do. But, if we play the Treant Boar, we can, or if we play, I think what we do is we go Dryad Matron, steal their Dryad Matron, and then next turn we go Treant Boar. It will have Zeal, so we'll damage the Dol Blathanna Sentry that way, dropping it down to a 4 unless you have other sources of boost. I think this is still fine. I think this is just the huge benefit of going second here. We'll swipe that back. Ooh, except you in the melee row does mean we're going to get damage every time we move around, which it's going to hurt, because we have a lot of movement. Johnny. Dealing damage whenever you play special cards is interesting. Didn't really see that coming. Now, we could play another Dryad Matron and either get back our original Dryad Matron or steal Johnny. I was originally thinking we'd go Treant Boar here, except with no 5-strength cards out there, we're not going to steal anything, so that feels like that's a bit of a missed opportunity. So, I mean, still, Dryad Matron is unfortunate when they have Dol Blathanna Sentry in the melee row, because it is basically canceling out everything we're doing here, but I think in the name of stealing cards, let's go for it. And we did get our Dryad Matron back rather than Johnny. And unfortunately, because it does go in the opposite row, and then something was going to end up in a row by itself. Okay, so we will take some damage here from Oneiromancy. They have another Dryad Matron, so they're going to steal one of these. Who, yeah, would like for you to steal that one. Because then at least these are boosting each other. But now, what do? We go Treant Boar. Well, I mean, Treant Boar will have Zeal. But again, playing it as a 5 is not going to steal anything. But we play it with Zeal, we damage you, drop you down to 5, and then what? Renew into, do we have anything with 5? In our graveyard, Gezras, but we can't play him. He's too high provision cost, so could potentially Geralt Yrden at some point to steal this guy, but that's going to have to be pretty late on, so that's... May have ultimately opted to go for the wrong approach here. Tried to lean perhaps a little bit too much into the seasonal events aspect of it, but see if we can still pull this one off. Let's go with Treant Boar here, because we do still want to get it down there early, and I think we're still trying to damage you. So this is scary, how low HP some of these cards have. They could certainly get destroyed if we're not careful, and see what they do on their turn here. They will deal damage every time they play a special card, which, if it hits this Dryad Matron, will take it out. It didn't. But this will be another source of 2 damage at this stage. So it could also destroy, will destroy one of these. And we could bring it back with Renew. Or any of a number of other cards, including Malena. But I think we might actually want to get the Catwitcher Mentor out there early because, or at least as early as we can get it, because the earlier we play it, the better it is, because it will start to benefit from getting boosted every time a card appears in that row. So, I mean, this is going to benefit. The earlier we get out, so is whatever we end up getting back with Renew, right? So, either way, I think it works. Let's go with this. Then heal Treant Boar by bringing it back and prepare it for another round of attacks. But this Dryad Matron is going to go down next turn unless we reset ourselves with Geralt Yrden, which probably isn't the play, but we'll see what they do here. Yeah, like, resetting their range row here is looking like that's certainly going to be the optimal strategy. They will end up destroying Dryad Matron either way. Okay. So, with Renew, we can get back... We could even get back Brehen and then destroy... Oh, that would have been great if we could have destroyed the 10 strength Dryad Matron. We could destroy the Cat Witcher and then in the process swipe their Dryad Matron. That might be the best strategy here. Because at this stage, it's late enough in the round that a Cat Witcher doesn't have a lot of time to do its thing, nor does Dol Blathanna Sentry. So, I think we go for that. Destroy you, swipe you, and then damage... We can try damaging you. You'll drop down to a 3, which is still not stealable. No, I think we need to attack Johnny then. In which case, it can get stolen. And it's surprisingly close here. See, they have... Oh, Geralt for Rivia, but there's no one to destroy. Interesting. They will swipe a card, which is unfortunate, yes. But we can reset this row. Will that be enough? We'll get Johnny back. Well, Order of Operations. Will we get Johnny back? Not sure. Let's do this. Oh, I was going to say. Okay, well, we actually didn't want to do that. Again, Order of Operations. Wasn't sure if we were going to actually get healed or damaged first. Well, we healed and then got damaged, so that did not help us. But let's see. I think we definitely do go for this. It's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be enough. It is not quite enough. We will not steal Johnny. Had we done that, I think we actually would have been tied. 18 apiece. And if we had not done the Wild Boar, then we would have had a 1-point victory. So there you have it. A close one. And there are lots of new things to consider when it comes to the seasonal event. So many possibilities for new and crazy plays. So there's a look at the new Irresistible Attraction seasonal event. It is chaotic, but it is a lot of fun. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below to let me know which other factions and which other cards you'd like us to experiment with going forward. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.